finance and taxation departments of trade and industry need to be prepared with their appeals to be filed before the GSTAT at the end of September 25 when the portal opens. Also, the first release of Income Tax Act 2025 is out, where the time limit for rectification of TDS and TCS returns have been reduced from 6 years to 2 years. The impact of both of this we'll discuss in this video. So first, filing of the appeals before the GSTAT. We'll discuss 5 important points to remember. Going forward, we'll have many such videos for understanding on filing of appeals before the GSTAT. So first point to remember for filing appeals before the GSTAT, it is going to be significantly different from what you have been doing at the first stage. The invocation of section 74 for genuine cases where there are no fraud, willful misstatement or suppression of fact, that in case argued appropriately and in case with evidences on why it cannot be understood and assumed that there is a fraud or suppression, that may find favor before the GSTAT, which we understand from our GSTAT experiences does report to the Ministry of Law and Justice and takes a very clear and considered view in most cases. Therefore, the arguments why section 73 and not section 74, if at all, should be invoked, that itself in case found favor before the GSTAT can reduce the tax burden from 5 years to 3 years. Second, invocation of section 75 of the CGST Act. Section 75 is a code for rule of law in itself. So in case you have not been granted appropriate hearings at the adjudication stage, or in case your order has travelled even beyond the show cause notice, all of this by invocation of section 75 of the CGST Act itself can be argued before the GSTAT. Before the first stage authority, most of the times whenever argued, these were taken as ancillary points for best known reasons, but at the GSTAT, these all points with our experience of GSTAT can be very strong arguable points. Third, many of the times the first stage authority have relied upon the circulars issued by the CBIC and the state governments. However, where the challenge is for the implementation of the circular itself, the first stage of authority at the GST's departments, they generally take a view that if circular is there, that has to be implemented by the taxpayers. However, the Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Vatika Township has held that circulars are not mandatory on the taxpayers. On this point itself, if genuine grounds are taken at the GSTAT its stage, we can expect relief. For example, circular 183 and 193, where the recipient has to take a declaration from the supplier in case ITC is not reflected in the GSTR 2A. In case it is impossible to take a declaration from the suppliers at this stage, the same point may be argued before the GSTAT and may be taken up at the appeals filing stage at the GSTAT. Next, all evidences, it must be ensured, have been taken up at the adjudication stage. As per section 112 of the CGST Act, no new evidences can be taken up first up at the GSTAT stage. Therefore, in case some evidences are missed out and an order is passed at the adjudication or even at the first stage, one may think of invocation of rectification of the order under section 161. And even in case the order may not be rectified in favor of the taxpayer, even then the evidences have been produced at the first stage or the adjudication stage. Therefore, all of these points must be remembered and many more which we will discuss in our subsequent videos must be remembered before filing of the appeals before the GSTAT by trade and industry. Implementation of Income Tax Act 2025. The timeline for rectification of the TDS TCS statement has been reduced under section 397(3)(f) of the Income Tax Act 2025 to 2 years, which was 6 years in Income Tax Act 1961 section 200 subsection 3. So, by March 2026, you must file all your rectification of TDS TCS returns till third quarter of financial year 23-24. From 1st of April 2026, no TDS TCS statements till the third quarter of financial year 23-24 will be allowed to be rectified. So this, friends, is the first press release under Income Tax Act 2025 which would need to be implemented. There are many such points section by section. In the upcoming videos, we will discuss how to implement this Income Tax Act 2025 and take positions which may be different from the positions which you are already taking in Income Tax Act 1961. So, to witness this massive change of GSTAT and implementation of Income Tax Act 2025, please do stay tuned at this channel. Do like, subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.